On this week's show, we're hunting in the Alberta Rockies, and I have the distinct pleasure of sharing the mountains with some of my oldest pals. Tom Coker, Brady Trottier,
shooting a deer is bonus for me,
and my main man behind the lens, Cheese Stacks. Now, in this particular unit, we have general over-the-counter tags that allow us to harvest mule deer bucks, 6-point bull elk, and either sex of whitetail. And since Tom has yet to successfully fill a big game tag in his hunting career,
I got lost in the brush a bit and then they made us, took off.
I figured we would take him into an area with lots of game and low hunting pressure, so even Tom could get a crack at one.
hold the tent down, jeez.
Our journey begins in one of Alberta's many wildland provincial parks, whose regulations state no motorized vehicles are allowed, which I figured would be the perfect setting for a week-long backpacking trip.
Already this whole country's opening up. You got some pretty nice high peaks.
It's now mid-November. The days are getting short, the nights are getting cold.
We got a cold snap coming in tonight and for the next couple days. It's gonna dip down -15 to -18.
And in the deer woods, this typically means the rut is gonna be in full swing.
I think we're kind of right on the borderline here of like muley and whitetail territory. As we go down, it's just like these nice open poplars, which typically hold really nice whitetail. But then as we get up into these rolling hills, you get all those nice pine trees, all the coniferous stuff, which is what's going to be holding a lot more of those mature mule deer. And you still get the grass mixed in there. I think we're going to have some fun with the muleys back up in here.
Being the first time any of us have hunted this area, we spent a few days poring over our iHunter maps, tagging places that looked like good deer and elk country. In the process, we stumbled upon a riparian area, a section of mountain grassland specifically set ablaze and managed by the Ministry of Natural Resources. This riparian area is designed to promote good winter grazing for the elk and deer populations in the region.
We just got this real promising clearing that we were been looking at on the maps. Sure enough, it's really nice in here. Big poplar stands, and then it kind of gets up here into these rolling hills. The snow's socked us in right now. There's not great visibility, so we can't really see what's behind these. But this area is just absolutely covered up in whitetail and elk tracks. They're just all over the ground. It's a good sign we're back into the stuff where there's a lot more game than what we've been seeing so far on the trails.
Now, one of the reasons I love these backcountry, late season, over-the-counter hunts so much is because of their spontaneous nature. One minute, you're hunting whitetails, and the next, you got a herd of 30 elk in front of you, and the hunt just changed gears real quick.
We just got into this nice valley, and we got a herd of 35 plus elk. A bunch of elk in here, a couple spike forks, and a whole bunch of cows. So we're just trying to glass them out here and see if there's anything worth shooting.
At first glance, it looked to be mostly cows and spike fork bulls. But with Mother Nature giving us her worst and visibility being so low, I figured we could easily move from 450 to within 200 yards to get a better look at one bull who may have had a little better headgear.
I got me, Tom, Brady, Cheese. We're about 250 yards out right now on about 30 elk. There's about 5 bulls in there, mostly young spike fork bulls, but there's one bull that might be a shooter. He's at least a 5x5. He might be a 6x6, so we're just trying to get him closer to have a good look. But this snow is really hindering their visibility. So we gotta get him tight so we can confirm he's legal.
Prior to coming on this hunt, Tom, Brady, and I set some ground rules on who gets to hunt first. Tom, fortunately, being the newest hunter to the group, was first up at bat, and now, staring down the barrel at a herd of elk with a potentially legal bull, it was my turn to put on the guide hat and help him through it.
Sight's good. Got loaded. We got one more ridge to go over. They're just kind of skirting us, so we don't want to let them get too far ahead. We gotta kind of try and stay just a little bit ahead of them. But they're just in this dip here. One more valley over, and we can peek over. They're still in there. It's 150 yards max. We should be good. But we gotta move. They're moving right now.
As we got to within 150 yards, the elk were now in the trees, and the main herd bull was tough to judge. He was either a 5x5 or a 6x5. But at this distance, we couldn't tell, and a closer inspection was required.
I don't think they saw us. I think they're just moving. So we just gotta keep pace with them until they stop to feed or lay down. So they're going somewhere, so let's just try and slowly, we're good now, we're rolling hills. It's gonna be a lot harder for them to see us.
After about an hour and a half of stalking them in the trees, we finally got a good look at the bull and determined he was not legal. Now, being close to noon, we caught a break in the storm and made the call to head up to a ridge with a commanding view of the valley and set up my new teepee tent.
We just climbed up from the valley floor up this side of the ridge, and we found ourselves a nice camping spot with a great view of the whole valley from up here.
I'm pretty excited actually, because this is the first time that we get to set up our new tent. Well, that I get to be part of it. You guys set it up already, but gonna make a nice little fire in the stove, and we're gonna get it all set up so we're all toasty warm. I've never had a tent with a wood stove in it, so we'll see how this goes, but so far it looks pretty darn good and spacious in here, so I think it's gonna be really good.
How heavy was the whole set, do you think?
It wasn't very heavy, maybe 7 pounds, 6 pounds or something like that. My only one complaint is this, it's a little bit big, especially for the fact that typically it's just me and you who come out here, but I mean right now for all four of us it does the job, but it's just a little bulky.
Never used these little fire pucks before.
They're pretty amazing.
You know, you could sit around and screw around here with birch bark and everything else, but
It's quicker.
these little things are quick, and especially if you're real cold or whatever out in the woods,
They're always really nice to have. You just have one, and just like that you can start up a fire super quick. What I'm curious about is seeing how this thing performs, you know, seeing how much it'll heat, seeing if it produces any smoke, because like this whole thing is just like it's not a sealed pipe whatsoever, you know, it's just spun together. There's holes here for ventilation, so it's gonna be pretty neat. I'm assuming they designed it properly so it's not gonna smoke, but it's just pretty cool. Never really seen anything like it. And this whole stove just kind of compacts down into this little tiny thing. Hear that roaring? Ooh, there's meat.
So we've had a pretty amazing day today. We came in here, we first off got into a whole bunch of elk right away. Then after we kind of spooked some of those elk out of here, we came up, set up camp, laid eyes on some more elk, bunch more deer in here. You can hear these elk bugling right now as I speak.
cows are moving right across the field behind you.
There's all the cows right there right now. So the cows are out, and yeah, we just came up, saw a doe and a fawn that we saw earlier today, and there's a nice buck there right on that doe's tail. Good 4x4 whitetail. So it's gonna be Tom's deer in the morning. Dead buck coming out in 6 loads on Tom's back. Tom brought the biggest possible bag on this trip, 34 liters. It's enough to fit my boot, and he expects to pack an entire deer out of here. We got a about a 6K hike back to the truck, so Tom will be walking about 30K to get his deer out of here. And you know what?
I was expecting a luxury mountain retreat with the boat ride in. We'll make it work.
Is this not a luxury mountain retreat?
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Man, this place is pretty slick. Especially this camp setup that we got going on right now. I'm still excited to see how we're all four of us gonna comfortably sleep in here with all this gear. It's gonna be a tight fit, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, this thing
Tight is comfy.
Yeah, exactly. This thing's producing really well. It's like it's pretty warm in here, relatively. It's cold as shit outside.
Yeah, it's not cold to be here.
It's gonna be minus 18 or something tonight. So, like, my hands out, it's nice and warm. I can get undressed in here and not freeze, so that's really nice compared to the tent. Like the tents, usually we're in there, you're in your sleeping bag, freezing your balls off, and you got to get undressed and redressed, and oof. Now we're just toasty, and everything gets to dry out too. Like all these are soaked right now, but hopefully they dry out by the morning. Full of ice. What do you boys think,
Tom? I think that was like ADD hunting. It's like, all right, we're gonna go for mule deer. Oh wait, there's some elk. Chase those for an hour. Oh, there's some whitetails. It's a pretty cool opportunity to be able to see that many species and jump around like that.
I was actually thinking we were gonna see a ton of mule deer and some whitetail deer, is based on the topography. We didn't really make it to where we wanted to go. If we would have, that's probably what would have happened, but realistically we're seeing a ton of game here, and this is an awesome spot. I really, what I'm thinking is happening is this like a winter feeding grounds for elk. So they're coming, migrating into here from their summer grounds, and this is where they're actually coming in to stay and feed and eat, because there's just like a ton of grass all over here, versus like up in the mountains right now, if there's a lot of snow, like it's been snowing now for a little while, a couple weeks, there's been snow on the ground, so they're not going to be able to get at that feed as easily. So then they come down and come and eat in here. We've been just watching the elk funnel in from those trees, multiple different herds today, coming in and just getting in this valley and just feeding in this valley. So, and tonight, super cool, we saw a herd, a bunch of elk rutting action. So like bulls are bugling, cows are chirping. There's like a full-on party down in the woods with like, I don't know how many cows, 30 cows all chirping around, and then the bulls bugling back and forth to each other. They were doing that for, I don't know, they might still be doing it, but a couple hours anyways. Pretty cool. Really cool experience.
We've been out here for 30 minutes this morning, and we're seeing, I mean, we saw one whitetail, but we've seen, like, I don't even know how many elk, a ton of elk. They're everywhere. We got a pack of 9 right here. There's a bunch more in the trees. I don't even know how many. We spotted a nice bull over here, a 5x5, with some other ones. Again, don't know how many. And then there's more elk over there. They're just everywhere in here. So, you know, it quickly is turning from a deer hunt to an elk hunt.
11 o'clock on the dot. You guys are gonna go and do a little loop around the immediate area we're in. I'm actually gonna hike up towards the mountain. There's an area that looks like a valley that has a lot of nice rolling grass hills. So I'm gonna go try to see if I can't get an eye on that.
So we're just slowly coming down these ridges, glassing into these clearings, and I was just telling Tom, you know, on a nice cold day like today, the sun's out, the deer are gonna be laying on those south faces with the wind at their backs, looking down into the drainage so they can smell danger from above, see it from in front of them. And sure enough, we're coming down here quiet as mice, and that thing just winded us, stood up, snort wheezed, I was straight down the valley. So either way, at least we're kind of getting into some action here, so we're just gonna keep going down, and hopefully the next one won't win. As we're coming down the mountain, we stumble upon this cabin here in this nice meadow, and as we're walking through, we found a bunch of bedded elk all throughout here. So we're just kind of seeing what's here, seeing if that big bull is in here. Right now we got a spike fork bull here, a cow here, and a cow and 2 calves there. And we're gonna try and push in a bit more here and see what else is kicking around. But it's quite beautiful.
really is. We found heaven on earth. It's a place I could happily grow old in. This is like what my dreams of a trap line should look like. This is somebody's trap camp here. We walk down here. The whole valley is just covered in elk. There's just elk all over. There's elk tracks right here in the front. There's deer all over the place. I mean, turn around and look at those mountains. Look at this view. Just turn around for a second. Look at that. This is everything that would make me happy. Right here. I could just live here for the rest of my life and just be a happy man. So, we got 2 does right here. Tom's just gonna try and get set up. I don't know, I think he should probably wait for a buck. We'll see what he says. You gonna make it happen or no? Yeah? Okay. You got a clear shot. Got these 2 does. 40 yards. Tom's gonna make this happen. Freestand shot. They're nice and close. Just gotta get a clear shot. Right in front of you, Tom. What? Go. They're there. Yeah. Dunzo. What happened?
Just couldn't get a good shot. Couldn't see him clear. I had him over here good, but he was facing me. So I was trying to scoot around. Kind of got lost him in the brush a bit, and then they made us, took off. Too bad. Maybe we can catch him up here.
As the day wore on and we continued scouting the basin, the winds really started to pick up, and I was getting concerned about the integrity of the teepee tent exposed on the ridge. So we grabbed some water from a spring and headed up for lunch. Upon further inspection, it was a good call making the climb for lunch. I noticed about a dozen holes in the new teepee tent canvas from the wood stove embers, which was rather concerning, being it was the first time we used the tent with a wood stove.
Hold the tent down, jeez.
As we were having lunch, the winds got so strong, they disconnected the stovepipe from the stove. Had we not been there to quickly reattach the pipe, we could have lost the tent, our sleeping gear, and found ourselves in a pretty precarious situation.
It's super windy today, so instead of staying out there in the fields and kind of watching those openings like we've been doing for the last few days, I decided we're gonna head up the mountain in a real thick timber in these valleys and just kind of do some exploring. And sure enough, as soon as we get up here, we're starting to get into the thicker timber, and there's rut sign. You can see where the bucks have been scraping and tearing stuff up. And I mean, there is a lot of wolf and coyote tracks still on the main trail. But this looks like, as we keep going here, it looks like it's starting to open up, and there's some kind of open hillside. So hopefully we can get there before dark, and never know, we just might find something. But if it is good up here, we're gonna pack up early tomorrow morning and get up here, just cheese and I, and come kill ourselves a big deer. More of a scope mission tonight, but hey, you never know. Got old Sandy here on the shoulder. Let's see if I can put her to use. We just made it up to the ridge, had a quick look around, and it looks really nice for mule deer. We didn't see too much tracks, but that's probably in due part because it was just snowing last night and it's been windy as hell all day. So we're gonna head back up here in the morning and spend the full day up here scouting. It like gets up these nice open faces, and it drops down little coulees and kind of rolling hills that just have like real short stunted poplars, and muleys just love that stuff. So I think we're gonna transition out of the whitetail zone into the mule deer zone, and we're gonna try and get at them tomorrow. Anyway, so now we got, I don't know, a couple kilometer hike back to get back to camp here. Kind of losing daylight, so we'll probably end up finishing in the dark.
What are you doing there, Mitch?
We're melting snow, man. We're melting some snow for coffee in the morning, and so we can drink some water, as everything is frozen around here, unless we like hike down to the river, I guess, but it's a fair ways down just for water. And since we got this stove already kicking, figured we may as well be just constantly melting snow. And I actually discovered a neat little trick that I haven't known all the years that I've been melting snow like an idiot. I've just been filling up a pot and hoping for the best, and then slowly putting water in. But if you already have it like half full of water and just keep throwing snow in, the snow just melts extremely quickly.
Much faster.
And makes it way faster.
How deep's the wood stove, Mitch?
Wood stove apparently is 13 inches, but cut your wood around 11, because if you cut it 13 inches it ain't gonna fit. So we got a whole bunch of wood here, massive stockpile that does not fit, even though we've already cut it to length with this handsaw, which took forever to do. It just doesn't fit in there. So I'm having to just literally cut all of these into smaller pieces. It's gonna take me forever. I'm literally burning it as fast as I'm cutting it. It's ridiculous.
Are you keeping up?
Yeah, barely. But hey, at least Tom's reading to us, so there's that. Keeps me entertained.
Next time on Alpine Carnivore.
Complete game plan change as usual. We saw there's a couple deer here, so we're gonna get Tom and deer this morning. A 2-bull elk right here.
I just sent a shot at him. I think he went down.
And we're gonna cook tenderloins right on top of that rib cage.